if you're James Lindsey, can you explain why this is happening? If this is all about Karl Marx materialism, it's a secret backdoor to get class warfare to happen, why is it turn into this? Why did they have the statue in New York on the courthouse of the woman with the horns and the weird tentacle arms? Why does it always come back to Baphomet and Moloch if this is really just secretly a way to do communism, but through woke ideology? Why does it always get back to this?
Yeah, it's because that's the core of it. And it's really, Lindsey obviously can't admit this. None of these kind of centrist liberals, these IDW types can admit this. I mean, maybe, obviously like Jordan Peterson, but a lot of these people can't admit this because the entire thing about their worldview was about disenchanting the world, right? The classical liberal worldview is about the disenchantment of the world. It's about the removal of the spiritual. It's about removing the metaphysical. It's about removing these things that are above our rationality or reason, putting them all in kind of this, coat closet and trying to find some kind of minimum viable operating system that can allow us to all like buy and sell widgets from each other. And, that does a lot of impressive things. Obviously, it's made a lot of people rich. We've made some really important advancements during that time. But one thing it really makes you do is forget that these things are real and that they remain active and that they will continue to consume your world. One of the reasons classical liberalism is so open and so easy to infiltration is it denies a lot of really powerful truths, and it just kind of hollows out your civilization's ability to resist any of this evil because it turns it all into science. It moves everything, all these conflicts of moral vision into the realm of the scientific. And all of a sudden you're sitting in a position where you don't have these like really basic mechanisms that were built into human beings, like disgust and shame, that were supposed to protect you from this stuff. Like these really deep human intuitions that you can't really explain, you can't rationally sort out in any given situation, but are incredibly valuable because they protect you against deep, horrible things that you can't really speak the name of. And all of a sudden you've stripped all that stuff away. But eventually it degrades your society in a way that becomes obvious. And so it's really important that this stuff, of course, again, is not spiritual. So I think if you put this question to someone like Lindsey, you'd be like, oh, well, these are, they don't really believe in the devil. They don't really believe in Satan. This is all ironic post-modern, blah, 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 to try to break down, rationality, whatever. But yeah, it is that. But also there's no such thing as ironic Satanism, because that's what Satanism is, right? Is the rejection of any understanding of order, understanding of natural hierarchies, the understanding of kind of the laws that have been placed into our universe by something divine. And so, yeah, you can be ironic about your effectuation of that position, but at the end of the day, you're still doing the work, and that's kind of the whole point. Yeah, it's hard. I hate to break it to you guys, but you're not being ruled by Foucault or Marcuse. You're being ruled by the Civil Rights Act. Like that's what's operative. Like that's what's actually going to take your children. Don't get me wrong. Like Foucault might have argued for the allowance of the kind of stuff that's going to happen to your children at the hands of the state. But the operative legislation that's going to allow the government to do this stuff is the kind of stuff we're talking about right now. Right. That we've spent a lot of time, here mentioning Lindsey, but to be really clear, it's not just him. He's not like, he didn't come up with this. He's not the only guy doing this. Like we're focused on him now because he's the one who's loudest about it. He was just, he just agrees with the left on Christianity. He hates Christians. He's scared of Christians. He's more worried about Christians than he is about the woke.
He's a moderate progressive. He's a reform progressive.
Yeah. Exactly. And so at the end of the day, he might not like the excess of wokeness, and some people might listen to him because of that, but he's not their friend. He's not their ally. He hates them. He wishes that they would never have power again, that their views would be purged from the public square. Like, and he's not particularly coy about that, to his credit. Like, it's not like he's hiding this when he's showing up on all these conservative, shows and whatnot. The people don't care because they want to hear him, lay out the 80,000 point plan to get rid of wokeness. But but the point is, like, people like him are always going to be there. Sam Harris was this before Sam Harris decided, right? Sam Harris was doing exactly this thing, right? He was, wokeness is dangerous. Wokeness is dangerous. Trump shows up. Sam Harris loses his effing mind.
Lindsey's on that arc right now, by the way. By the time 2024 ends, he's going to be Sam Harris.
He'll be talking about how he doesn't care how many bodies are buried under Biden's house. Yeah, it absolutely. He'll be talking about how you have to censor Christians and gulag them all.
Every nation has ever existed and ever will has its own state religion. Also not the first person to say that, but it's obvious. And if you tell me that you know, oh, I'm not religious, not only are you wrong, I know exactly what religion you belong to. That's the creed of the civil religion that runs the United States. And the civil rights movement, not necessarily the Civil Rights Act, but the civil rights movement is it's like their biblical tale, right?
It's the passion play. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the Stations of the Cross.
They kind of have the Old Testament and the New Testament. The Old Testament was before 64.